impossible to win over. You know what it's like on the doorstep. You know, you'd rather be anywhere else. Sometimes they're just saying something, you're never going to convince them. With AV, it's easy. All you've got to say is there are only 3 other countries in the world that have this voting system. Australia, Fiji, and Papua New Guinea. Right? The rest of the world thinks it's a rubbish system, and half the world uses our system. That is a great argument to use with people. The other one I mentioned yesterday, imagine it's the Olympics, Usain Bolt wins the 100 metres, he goes up to the podium, but under AV, the person who came third might well be getting the gold medal. What sense is there? And also, think of this argument. With our system, it's so simple. With the current system, you can explain it in a sentence. You go into the polling booth, you put a cross in the box of your candidate, you put the ballot paper in the box, whoever gets the most votes wins. AV is fantastically complicated. And it's so complicated that someone who votes for the BNP will probably get their vote counted 3 times, whereas you voting Conservative or Labour or Liberal will only get your vote counted once. It's an argument we can win, but it's an argument we've absolutely got to go out and make so that we do win. That was the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing I wanted to say is, look, I know that it can be tough when you're in government as a political party because you have to roll with the difficult decisions and the hard things that we have to do. But I think it's really important that as Conservatives, we stand up and we're proud of what the government is doing. Now, I know we're in coalition, we can't achieve everything that was in our manifesto. But I think if I had told you, 10 months into a new government, we would have put a cap on immigration, we would have frozen the council tax, we would have doubled the payments we make to our soldiers in Afghanistan, we would have done an emergency budget and spending round and made the cuts in public spending necessary to get our budget deficit under control, that we had produced in time the lowest rate of corporation tax anywhere in the G7, that we had a system for schooling where if you wanted to set up a new school to bring great education to inner city areas, you could set it up as a free school. If I told you, and we were going to have a welfare bill that actually caps the amount of welfare that families can get, so we don't have these families on 30, 40, 50,000 pounds of welfare. If I told you we were going to do all of those things, I think you would have said, that sounds like a pretty Conservative government to me. So yes, sometimes it's frustrating that we don't get everything we want. We can't go as far as we'd like on things like the Human Rights Act. But this is a government I really believe that is delivering for the Conservative Party. And we can't rely on the BBC and on the media to get these points across. The BBC, the British Broadcasting Cuts Corporation, as I call it, that's all they ever talk about. We have to get out there and explain to people ourselves. Now, the third thing I wanted to say is this. This is going to be a tough and a difficult year. There's no doubt about it. VAT has gone up. Petrol prices are very high. Real wages aren't increasing very much, and there are going to be job losses in the public sector as we get to grips with the mess that we were left by the Labour government. It will be a difficult year. I don't want to hide that from you. But I think we need to keep 2 things in our mind. The first is, very clearly, whose responsibility it is for the difficult situation we're in, and that is the last Labour government that left this country in a complete and utter mess. Yeah, yeah. The second point is this. I think we know as Conservatives that the point of government is not easy winning headlines to make you feel better for the next day. The point is public service in the national interest. That is why we're all involved in the Conservative Party. That's why we're all involved in politics. And we have to take people through this difficult year, and maybe a fairly tough year next year, but we have to take people through and say when we have got our debts under control, when we've got the deficit under control, when we've deregulated business, when we've cut taxes for business, when we've got the economy going again, we will have a stronger, better country. And when we give more responsibility to people, which is what we're actually about, and you can see we're doing it in local government, we're doing it through the big society, saying that if you want a better country, you have to step up to the plate and play your part. When we do these things, we will build a stronger, better country. And I think people know that, and they will be patient. But we as a party have to be patient. As we explained, this is tough work, this is hard work. We were left a complete mess, but we are going to deliver this country for a stronger economy and a stronger society and all the things that we care about. So I want to thank you for all you've done to help get us here, but above all, I want to thank you for what you're going to do in these vitally important local elections. You're out almost all the way across the West Midlands?
Pretty well.
Who hasn't got an election?
Nuneaton and one in Shropshire.
That was a trick question because we've all got an election. We've got that AV referendum. But anyway, very best of luck in May. Put everything you've got into it. We are in a coalition, but there's no excuse for not winning Lib Dem seats on May the 5th. You can win them from whoever you can get them from to make sure we have a good performance in May. Thank you for that. Thanks for all you do, and best of luck in May. Thank you very much.